Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Walking Dead episode 6 video. Careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. It was mostly a Tara episode, but they're just laying tracks for what will become the season finale episode 16 in the spring. So there's some big stuff on the horizon. So we finally confirm Oceanside, a place that we've heard about in the comics but haven't really seen yet. So they're moving this way up. Oceanside doesn't really debut, or actually doesn't even get mentioned till issue like 138, but it's not like the safe zone or the Savior's compound, a place where you go spend a bunch of time. It's just a place that we hear about that's comprised of people that fish for their food. Like they say, they have an unlimited supply of food. So even with that ambiguous ending, you just have to believe that they're going to come back at some point because they have weapons, they have unlimited food, and surprise, surprise, those just happen to be the things that the safe zone needs. So top 10 WTF and comic book Easter eggs. And just a really quick shout out, just because YouTube's doing some weird stuff lately, make sure you enable alerts if you're subscribed, just so that you get all the videos, because supposedly YouTube's being weird, but here we go. Number 10. Tara and Heath have been scavenging for the last 2 weeks, and they haven't found anything. So this is where the timeline gets a little messed up. If you were confused because it seemed like Tara didn't know about anything that had happened, even to Denise, because during the episode, she says, I have a girlfriend I'd like to get back to, but we saw Denise die during season 6. So already, you're kind of asking questions and they're jumping around. So really the answer to that is that even though we've had 6+ episodes this season so far, and a couple last season since Denise died, they haven't been moving in real time. So it's only been about 2 weeks since Denise died. I think they did this because of that last big moment, number 9, when she actually gets back and Eugene just breaks down and tells her what's been going on, completely taking the wind out of her sails. Sorry to hear about Denise. Like the whole episode, the tone was meant to be a little more hopeful. Like Tara was all bubbly, like, hey, we could work together, we can make this happen. And then she gets back, finds out that Denise is dead, what the Saviors had done, and just completely breaks down. So number 7, jumping around in the timeline more, Tara and Heath make it to the bridge. Tara accidentally just yanks all those walkers out of the sand. It was a great reveal. It was like one of the big action set pieces of the episode. Walker traps are one of the most fun parts of Walking Dead. Some are better than others. This one was pretty good, but with the way they broke that scene up in time across the episode, you're just left to wonder how Tara wound up on the beach, but then you start to put the clues together like, oh, she probably fell off the bridge and got carried there. So number 6, the little girl Rachel, which is absolutely hilarious, reminds me of Carl from season 3, like little baby Carl with the gun, who was just totally ready to waste someone. In fact, she was making that downward motion just as Cindy stopped her, like she stopped her mid-stab before she could get Tara. Just absolutely hilarious throughout the entire episode. And as Tara's leaving, just totally flips her off. So number 5 though, welcome to Oceanside. So like I said, it's right out of the comics, but they haven't done a whole lot with it in the comics yet. So they're moving this way up on the TV show. It's really just meant to broaden the universe and lay tracks for what I think will become all-out war. But the way they played it in this episode and the fact that there are only 2 more episodes before the end of the year make me feel like it's going to be a long time before anybody gets their shit together and they marshal their forces against the Saviors. So we met this community of women who are pretty badass but super nice and have unlimited food. We will definitely be going back there in the future, but it just feels like it's not going to happen for a while. The leader here, Natanya, also not from the comics, but wasn't this just like the most chill interrogation you've ever seen on The Walking Dead ever? Like they ask her if she wants to go to the bathroom. Do you want some fish? They invite her to a sit-down dinner, then ask her to join the community and even offer to let her friend, they're talking about Heath, join too if they can find him. So these are like the nicest people ever. If this had been any other group, they would have just punched Tara in the face and just thrown her out on the side of the street for the walkers to take. Isn't it just hilarious when you see something like this and you think about what's been happening to Daryl during his stay at the Savior's compound, having to listen to that song over and over, and they're just doing like arts and crafts out here at Oceanside like it's no big deal? Like if anything, that almost took me out of the episode, like it just felt way too nice for The Walking Dead. But again, it just feels like it's all set up for that big payoff at the end when she learns about all the crap that's happened. I know some of you were kind of disappointed that she isn't Alpha, but that just means that they could do Whispers way later, so we can talk about them if they ever tease them on the show. It seemed like there's some other group in that Weeks Ahead trailer that Rick and Aaron run into that has absolutely nothing to do with Oceanside. So there's still a lot of other new characters that they could crawl out of the comic book woodwork. Number 4 though, what happened to all the dudes? So they explain that the saviors, it takes a while before they both acknowledge that they've run afoul of the saviors, but eventually the woman's like, oh, the people that you went to kill at the satellite station, they're the same people that killed all the men, everyone over a certain age. And did you catch what this woman said? She dropped a bomb on Tara. She made it sound like them attacking that satellite station set off the chain of events that caused the death of all of their men and then is going to lead to some greater conflict. But I think the problem there is you could blame the survivors and Rick for making that decision to go against the saviors, but they would have arrived at this situation eventually no matter what. So even if you want to lay blame, technically they're not in the wrong. I think it all just depends on whether or not you believe that true evil exists in the world. Do you think that Negan is evil? So just to give you an idea for the geography, a lot of people were confused about the timeline for the Oceanside community. The men were killed where they used to live. They bailed afterwards and found Oceanside, then erected that big barricade with the sand. So the saviors have no idea where Oceanside is. That's why they're trying to keep it such a secret. But if you remember in last week's episode, Stephen Ogg said that there was another mutual group when he was talking to Gregory that had been taken care of and wasn't an issue anymore. He might have been referring to the conflict the saviors had with that Oceanside group. Number 3, meet Cindy. She's not from the comics, but she could be an amalgam of characters. They could be turning her into the Magna character who's part of a different community. There's just so many other groups of people that they could introduce on the TV show. So we can talk about them if they actually introduce them. But for the most part, Cindy's just supposed to be this badass character who is really hopeful. You don't choose to be evil, you just forget about who you are. So she's just meant to lay that seed inside Tara. But I love Tara's answer to that. I've seen evil. It exists. She's talking about the saviors, but it's kind of funny because most of the audience, like me, you guys, we're thinking about Negan when she's talking about evil people really existing in the world, but she hasn't met Negan yet. She doesn't know anything about that. So when she's talking about evil existing, she was just talking about the saviors at that satellite station. But it does kind of make you remember her experience with the governor, the birth of the fist bump. It was so long ago that she debuted in that solo governor episode. It seems like it's been a long time, but that was way back during season 4. So number 2 is Heath. What happened to Heath? There are tracks making it seem like he bailed in the RV and got away, but there's that little key card with the P symbols drawn on it, which doesn't really refer to anything that we've seen on the show so far. It could belong to the saviors, it could be Heath trying to leave a clue or something that he accidentally dropped, but Tara is just taking it as a sign that Heath got away. So they played it super ambiguous just to make you feel the anxiety of wondering what happened to him. But isn't it crazy that they didn't address it when she got back to the safe zone? She just learns about Denise and is all bummed out. They don't address Heath at all. Hey, did Heath come back? Where's the RV? There's no shots of it. So that's just some of the tricks that The Walking Dead likes to play on you, just making you wonder, what happened to him? So you guys can let me know in the comments, did Heath get back, or was he taken by the saviors or another group and that keycard belonged to them? But my number 1 was just the conversation that you did not hear, her learning about all the crap that's happened the last couple of weeks, or the last 6 episodes really. Glenn and Abraham were killed, Negan is imposing this crazy rule on them, Daryl is a prisoner, everyone's in shambles, the saviors have already taken most of our supplies, so we have nothing. But it did close the loop on this really hopeful arc. It definitely balanced it out. So let me know, what was your favorite moment from the episode, and how long do you think it's gonna be before we see the Oceanside people again? I feel like Cindy has to come back. They set her up as such a badass character that you can't just never bring her back. So if there's gonna be some huge war in the season finale, I feel like she is going to be a part of it. The real MVP of the episode, though, was Rachel. She was probably one of the best new characters in this. I hope they bring her back, even though I'm not expecting her to be a really huge character. The life expectancy of children on The Walking Dead is usually pretty short unless they're willing to kill. She seems like more of a Carl-type character, so maybe they'll keep her around. But what's going to happen next is I'll post my Westworld video, then I'll post a Walking Dead trailer video, and there is a new round of the Walking Dead giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. Like I said, just because YouTube is being really weird, make sure you turn alerts on. Make sure that little bell is grayed out. So those And some Rick and Morty is coming down the pipeline too later this week, maybe on Tuesday. I'm going to be doing Rick and Morty videos, but I'll explain how that's going to work when I post that first video. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for the craziest Game of Thrones theories you've ever heard. And you can click here to start getting ready for that big Flash DC Fortnite crossover this week. So let's fist bump. I'll see you guys tonight.